It comes to us live now, right now, in 3, 2, 1.
Because if there's even a hint of that, badge or no badge, I will cut your heart out with a rusty butter knife and eat it while it's still beating.
I found my wallet.
This is the morning stream. You know, Tom Hanks gets like $5 million to do this all day.
Yeah, where's he now?
Yeah, where's he? You know, that's pretty funny because, I mean, no one's going to believe me. Or maybe they will believe me, I don't know. But that was the very next Fletcher clip in line to be played. Because I do them
really?
I do them in order. And it just happened to be there, just, you know, in the light of this news yesterday that him and his wife contracted the disease while they were in Australia. Did you know that if they were here, had they gotten it here, they wouldn't have been able to get tested where they live.
Oh, really? So I think they contracted it here, but they...
Oh, is that the deal? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they discovered it while they were in Australia.
Yeah. Lemonade, that wasn't meant to be funny. I'm just saying that was in line.
I think Lemonade's joking.
Oh, maybe he's kidding. Yeah, it's not meant to be a joke. I feel bad for them. In fact, I don't like that. It was a sad reminder in two ways. One, that someone I really like in Hollywood has this awful thing and is dealing with it, but also that he's also in the age range that's a little more troublesome.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea that Tom Hanks has gotten old because it used to be he was young and scrappy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You think back to the old Bosom Buddies and Bachelor Party and Splash, Tom Hanks. And,
it feels like yesterday, right? Like it just happened.
It does. It doesn't feel like that long ago.
Oh, my wife brought me a tea. Thank you, dear. It's very kind of you. You want to check on your pot plants while you're down here and make sure that's all good? We still got these lights on. Are they growing? Not yet? Okay. I don't know how it works. I'm no horticulturist. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It is TMS. It's Scott and Brian. It's March 12th, 2020.
Luke Sightwalker asked, what was that movie he did with Leonardo? I think that was called Catch COVID If You Can.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
What's the name of that one?
I've been hearing a lot of Gen X jokes about how we all hear COVID-19 in our head when we sing the song.
And come on, Eileen.
Yeah.
COVID-19. Yes, I swear my hands are clean at this moment. I watched it for 20 seconds.
That's what you should do. Sing that song with the COVID-19 lyrics while you wash your hands for as long as it takes.
Is it long enough?
Yeah.
I know you're supposed to do right now. The new one is sing the chorus of Africa twice.
Oh, is that the new thing? Cool.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you.
I have a version of that now that's done. Oh, I don't know where I put it. I'd play a little of it, but it's from Animal Crossing. Somebody made it in Animal Crossing.
Really?
So it sounds like,
awesome.
Super like, I don't know, GameCube-y and old. Yeah, very good.
I'm just so on the fence. I want it, but do I want to buy it now and spend $60 on Animal Crossing and play it in a week? Or do I want to wait maybe a month and maybe get it for $10 less or something? You know?
Do they do a deal like that?
I'm sure I'll be able to get it at a discount after the initial mad rush of people buy it. They'll be like, you know, once sales start slumping.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this on during Raid last night, but how many people are on the 20th are going to say, you know, I'm going to actually self-quarantine, boss.
Yeah,
I'm going to stay home and self-quarantine.
Yeah, I got some trees to get some fruit off of out in the island I have. So
right.
I mean, I'm sick. Exactly. I'm sick is what I mean. I'm sick. Yeah. Nintendo doesn't discount their stuff very often, but you're right. You once in a while get like cartridge only deals and things like that.
Right, exactly. It'll be on like Amazon will have it for $10 less second week or third week of April or something.
Yeah, that's totally true. I'm definitely getting it day of, but I'm getting it digital. I don't care to wait for. I don't want any more cartridges.
Yeah, I wish they'd give a discount for digital. It's the same damn price, isn't it? $59 for digital.
Yeah, that's pretty much true across the board, though. Everybody's doing that now. I know it sucks.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm predicting it right now. It's Bryce Stradamus making a prediction here.
Oh.
The 20th is going to come around. You're going to rave about what an incredible game it is, and I'm going to just say screw it. And while we're doing the show, I'm going to buy Animal Crossing.
I mean, you do this to me too sometimes. So yeah, Let's
I think
both.
it's more the other way. Like you do it to me more than I do it to you.
Let's make poor.
Bill did it to you last week with this talk about clay. Is the plastic off of that clay yet?
No, it's right here. So today, my plan, I'm gonna take some kind of social media photo of it so that I feel motivated to actually do something with it, because I need to make something with it, and I don't even know what I'm gonna make yet. And also, is it weird that I'm tempted, given that it's a finite amount of clay? So what I make either has to be medium to small, or I need to double up and buy another pack, or I need to do like people do where they make like a internal like skeletal structure out of tinfoil or something in the middle of the head they make or whatever.
Right. So it's kind of hollow inside.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you haven't even unwrapped this clay and you're already deciding it's not enough.
Oh, it's just something that it's like I'm just eyeballing it. You know how you can look at some food and say, I know exactly how long my microwave will take to cook that.
Right, yes.
It's like, that's a minute kind of 25. Like, yeah.
This is not enough clay.
Yeah. Something about it seemed like not enough, and I should have gotten to. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Glad to everyone here. We're, it's one of these, with all this stuff going on and everything getting shut down and everything getting all weird, it's a nice reminder that this show has the benefit of being a thing that we can do and do regardless of this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as we've got electricity and we've got, internet and that sort of stuff continues to
as long as one of us doesn't get sick.
Oh yeah, neither of us want this.
But yes.
As long as one of us doesn't get sick, it's nice because this kind of thing can go on. And if people are having to self-quarantine all over the place, you'll have us every day to count on, and we'll bring it to you, whether you want it or not. we'll be here for you, okay? That brings me to this. We need to make a small announcement about Las Vegas. We want to be proactive about this.
TMS PSA.
Yes, TMS PSA. We want to be proactive, get out ahead of it a little bit, and basically, here's how it works. And this is after long conversations with various people, including people like Tom Merritt, who are always very, they're smart about stuff like this.
He's a both feet on the ground realist. He's
about everything. What is it? Pragmatist. Pragmatist?
Pragmatist. Sure.
Yeah, pragmatist. Yeah, that's it.
He's very pragmatic.
That way. Yes. Also, it should be Nostra Ibit, not Bry Adamus.
Bryce Stradamus?
No, Bryce Stradamus or Ibit. Nostra Ibit sounds better.
Ibstradamus. How about that?
Ibstradamus. I like it.
Ibstradamus.
Anyway, we want to be proactive. I should probably say this before it gets too deep. We are going to now officially advise anyone who is at risk, that is to say older folks, immune system compromised people, that sort of people, probably should cancel any plans they have to come to the Vegas thing. Mm-hmm. At this point, we are not full-on canceling it because we want to kind of wait and see what happens. We know it's only 2 weeks, but
right.
And a lot can happen. Yesterday, there was about a 30-minute period that felt like 2 weeks of things happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff happens quick, and then sometimes things happen slowly. So Brian and I are playing all that stuff by ear, but we wanted to mention that. Also, caution to international travelers that we don't know what kind of screening or travel restrictions might happen. We don't know. That stuff's in flux. Last night, the president of these States United announced that flights to and from Europe are locked down for 30 days. They're not letting that happen except for
I don't know if
it's
the flights to Europe. I think that he's only preventing Europeans from flying here.
Well,
but I thought
it was both ways. Although unless they're American citizens, they can come and go. That he didn't make that clear during the thing,
really?
But that's been clarified since by some White House person.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I hadn't heard that. I know that trade. He said that everything's closed off. People coming in and trade, but trade is allowed.
He was not supposed to mention that or say that, I guess, and they fixed that. It's almost like, well, anyway. So
we're going to make an unprecedented attack against the coronavirus. No other country has ever done an attack on coronavirus like this one.
You've harnessed this thing that's just the worst part, and yet it's good that you do it.
Let me get the weird little neck fold thing that he had.
That little vagina thing, yeah.
Kind of a little turning me on a little bit, but
just a little. It's like when you see a round, smooth thing, and you're like, oh, like a breast.
Yes.
Because we're
All right,
naturally...
we should probably be very, very serious during this during this segment.
Probably, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, anyway, so here's the deal. We want to caution those international folks to know that, and if you live in anything other than the UK, because the UK is exempt, but even then, I don't know what the screening and travel restriction stuff's going to look like. It's all really flexy right now. Now, there's a lot less people traveling, so that may make up for it. I don't know, but just know that there's a lot of that happening. And then also a reminder to domestic travelers to watch for news as conditions change, especially if you have, if you're in a compromised position. And I already mentioned if you've got, if you're in sort of the age group that's most at risk, if your immune systems are compromised, that sort of stuff, maybe even more so. But keep your eyes on the news as conditions change. We will too, and we'll talk about it as we know. My goal with all of this, and I think Brian shares this with me, is that we don't want to treat it. We're not trying to panicky freak out, and it's easy for people to look at what I'm even saying now and saying, you're panicking. That's not what we're doing. We just want to be reasonable here. Like yesterday, a freaking Utah Jazz player thought, a couple days ago, thought he was real funny because he had a cold, and was a real point of pride for us Jazz fans, by the way. Thought he had a cold, and then started joking and laughing that he had the coronavirus. Ha ha ha! Isn't this funny? And he starts touching all the microphones of the press and bringing it up close to his mouth and spitting on, not meaning to, but kind of just doing what you do, being an a-hole. And then yesterday he's confirmed to have the virus, and now this morning there's another player on the team with it, and chances are some of those reporters and press are probably going to have it. And the entire NBA has postponed or locked down their entire season because of this dumbass in Utah for doing his thing, or at least I assume it's mostly him. I figured we'd see a lot of games without crowds and stuff because we are getting a lot of news like that. But like I said, yesterday there was about a 30-minute period, Brian, where 2 weeks of occurrences seemed to happen in about 30 minutes. It was nuts.
Yeah. And it's funny, I was coming back from from out there catching Pokemons. It was Wednesday dinner hour raid. So on Wednesdays from 6 to 7, it's higher concentrations of the legendary. Like just about every gym has the current legendary in there. And so the group of Arvada folks and I will go out and we'll hit like 4 or 5 gyms, and then, all right, fun. See you in a couple of weeks. See you next time. We're going to do it every week, but it was, there's a brand new one, Tornadus or Thunderous or whatever his name is. Looks like Mr. Clean with a,
I've seen that guy.
It kind of looks like he's got a string of anal beads coming off of his cloud.
Ew.
Anyway, I'll send you a photo.
All right.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we were coming back, and I'm getting texts from you about the Utah Jazz guy. I'm getting texts from Tanner about international travel being shut down, or Europe travel being shut down. I'm like, oh my god! And then we get home and we watch the president's weird address to the nation with his weird breathing things like, and we want to stop the coronavirus. like there's some weird places where he takes a breath where it's almost like he's reading from his teleprompter, and there's not a place where it says pause and breathe, so he just does it right in the middle of a word.
Yeah,
we're going to make an unprecedented show of force to stop the coronavirus.
Somebody made one of these. Check this out. I'm gonna play it.
My fellow
Hold on.
Americans.
Here we go. They just edited out all the words and kept the weird breathing.
I love when NPR does that, where they edit out, like NPR did this with years and years and years ago, I think, with the candidates when there was a big field, kind of like what we had this last year with the Democratic field. And they isolated the words that they said, but no, they left in ums and stammers and anything like that to see who was the most well-spoken of the group. And I thought that was
interesting.
Really interesting.
It also has the side effect of telling you who isn't the most well-spoken of the
right,
group.
Exactly. Anyway,
Biden is not great at some of that stuff.
Oh, he's not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So before we get off the topic of this in Vegas and everything. I mean, bottom line is we want to make sure that our listeners are healthy, that we're healthy, our families are healthy. We got people coming out, and that we don't bring you into a position or into a situation where you could get sick. Because if something happened to even one of you guys, we'd be heartbroken.
It'd be horrible. We would feel so bad. Yep.
Feel horrible. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if this was like a big, 500 to 1,000 person thing, we would have straight up 100% really canceled it by now. Yeah. Because it's a thing that's a little more casual. It's, maybe a dozen or two people, 2 dozen, or, we don't even know how many people actually, but it's not in the hundreds or anything. Which is interesting because that's kind of a benefit that we have this time around, is that we didn't spend 20 grand on renting out the HyperX Esports Arena. Yeah,
or
we kind of got lucky, right? We dodged a bullet because normally we would do a bunch more, but we're like, oh, there's this wedding, so why don't we maybe be more casual about it? And I mean, you and I have talked about this, but it was just like, whew. We didn't do tickets. People don't have to worry about reimbursements. Like if you don't, I guess what I'm saying is if 100% what Brian said, plus if you're at home right now going, oh man, I don't know now. Don't feel bad if you can't come or don't want to come. I mean, honestly,
nervous about it, totally fine.
Honestly, a couple things could happen in the next few days that would make me not go. And it would be, they'd have to be kind of big, but
you and me both. I mean, as much as I'd hate to say, sorry, James and Svet can't make it out there, or sorry, Tadpoolers or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a worry, and of course, Tina's system is compromised too from her surgery or her cancer and chemo and radiation surgery. I mean, surgery was the easiest part. Yeah. But
yeah, I wish that's all there was just the surgery.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's it's obviously a concern, and at this point, nothing's canceled, nothing's stopped, but watch this space for we're all going to be watching what's going on here and making that decision. The good news is that all the airlines are being really good about reimbursing people for flights if you need to, or rescheduling. And if you cancel your Plaza hotel within 24 hours of the day you're supposed to arrive, no charge. You get your money, you get your deposit back, or any money you've paid back. So.
Yeah, they're very good about that stuff. So
yeah,
I'd hate to even do that to them. I just feel the whole thing sucks, right? Everyone knows everything about this. It
absolutely sucks.
But we'll keep you informed, and what we're gonna do, what you're gonna do.
But I'll tell you right now, I'm not hugging any one of you. As much as I love you, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be the L bump all weekend. We're gonna be L bumping.
Yeah, L bump and coitus. We'll do a little coitus.
I'll take you from behind, but I won't hug you from the front.
You that escalated so quickly there at the end. Oh my gosh! All right,
we'll do hugs where we're all facing the same way.
Oh, that's awesome. That made me laugh. This is the other thing that we hope that we here at the show can provide is some laughter during this weird time. So make sure you keep tuning in. We're here for you. You're here for us. Everything's good. All right. By the way, I just want a quick shout out to Brian Ibbett, my co-host, for making a prime recommendation yesterday. I'd been meaning to see it anyway, and it seemed like it was up my alley, but
it was inevitable. Yeah.
Did not think I was going to binge 4 hours of it or 4 episodes of it in a row. I'm completely hooked on that McMillions miniseries documentary, and I guess I'm 2 away from being done, but I'm loving every freaking second of it. And that FBI agent, I want them to just clone Doug and put 1 million Dougs in the FBI. Have them everywhere the FBI goes. I want all Dougs.
I don't know. Do we want a whole FBI full of Dougs?
Maybe not.
That meeting was so long, I think I got hungry twice during it.
He is really funny. Like, genuinely funny.
He is the best part, but I also love, like, how his bosses are like, oh, yeah, Doug. Doug was itching for some sort of way to do some undercover recon. And we're like, okay, Doug, go ahead, run with this.
Yeah, it's great because everyone who works with him has a smirk on their face when they're talking about him.
Talking about Doug, exactly.
Yeah, nobody can be serious. It's like
shows up in a gold suit to the.
That's so good. Anyway.
Yeah, and what do you think of? I mean, boy, there is a parade of nuts go through this thing.
Oh yeah,
like the lady, the three former wives of.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
Uncle Jerry.
Yeah.
No, two Uncle Jerry, and one is Jerry Colombo or.
Yeah, the round bald guy is Columbo, I think,
Right.
and all the wives are a little on the
little wackadoo,
yeah.
especially the bright red one with the
with everything's red in the house. My gosh,
everything's red, exactly.
It's like it was a remote shoot in hell or something. It was the weirdest thing. You're inside a strawberry, but it was just the weirdest thing. Those people are fascinating. Everything about it is just got me completely hooked. So well done. It's the first time I think a recommendal has driven me to watch something that hard the very day you recommended
That
it.
quickly, yeah, no kidding.
That was in.
Well, now you got to hit. I swear you got to hit Mythic Quest when you're done with this.
All right, I'm in. I did see the trailer for that finally, and it actually inspired me to want to see it. So I'll see it.
Cool.
While I was being lazy watching that, you were I was doing that at night, but you were out riding your bike. Well done.
Yeah, I got out on the bike. So first warm enough day for me to hit the old bike trail yesterday afternoon, and so right after Coverville, didn't even like say, well, I'll do it after I edit. I looked at my watch. It was the magic 66 degrees, which is the the I'm doing it temperature.
So good
when it comes to bike riding.
Yeah.
And
not coitus.
Went out there, filled my tires, and got out there. I'm going to have to send you a photo. I'm gonna have to take a photo. I have to send you a photo of my bike outfit because I got it from Tina's parents for Christmas. It is a Spider-Man bicycle jacket and shorts.
Nice.
I also have a Captain America, not jacket, bicycle shirt and shorts. I'm gonna have to send you a photo of the Captain America one as well. But
that's great. That's so great. Do you have a matching helmet? So you got the little.
I don't.
Yeah.
The helmet sadly the helmet I have is orange, so it does not fit the thing. But as I was riding, one little girl that I passed goes, Spider-Man. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, maybe 75 pounds less. if I get to 75 pounds down, maybe.
That's cute though. It's cute. Little kids
it was really
do
cute.
that.
Yeah. And it's just great to see everybody out there walking on the path. And sadly now today, 40. Oh no, it's going to get up to 54 degrees. Maybe another ride today.
Yeah, that's right on the edge, right? I'll start wearing shorts
right
in the. I'll wear shorts in the 50s. I'll jog in the 50s, but I don't know if I'd ride because the bike involves a lot of wind. And
it does.
Cold wind, right? Like you don't want.
And a lot of my ride goes by a reservoir or a creek, and a lot of cold air comes off of that, especially the reservoir.
Oh yeah, water will do that to you for sure.
Yeah.
That's so nice though. How nice is that? That's nice. Being able to have that right there.
It was so great to get out there.
Yeah.
I miss shooting tanks, but not that much. I'll go back when it's cold. I'll go back. I'll do that today. Probably is do the VR thing. I don't know. I've got a dentist appointment.
Oh, they're the best.
If the Quest wasn't so bulky, I bet I could take the Quest and wear that for my dentist appointment, but it does kind of impede there.
I'm pretty sure that when the day comes when those things are small and just like the size of reading glasses,
Google glasses or something.
Yeah, we're going to be doing. That's going to be a thing you can do.
Totally. Oh yeah. Just take me away from here, Calgon. Take me away. Take me out of this dentist's office.
Make it interactive every time he zings you or whatever is something.
Exactly.
A big tank comes around the corner. Ah, tank! And then
I'd probably just do some sort of like. I don't think I'd be able to do a game.
Yeah, it'd have to be I don't know what would it be?
Just some sort of like flying experience, or maybe even
Yeah, like dropping out of the sky, free falling, maybe.
Yeah.
Something serene and chill, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, something where I don't need to move my head to see what's going on around me, but something maybe where I'm just looking straight ahead. And
it's a good point. You can't be doing this.
Right, exactly.
They're not going to allow it. Turns out they don't move with you. It turns out.
Yeah, turns out. Yep.
Well, congratulations. When is the MS-150? That's in a month?
It is June. Oh God, no. Oh, thank God. Scott, don't say that. No, it is end of June. So June 28th, 29th, I believe.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right after that party we're going to.
It is. Actually, it might be. It just now is hitting me that might be the same weekend.
Oh, it might be. Is it?
Golly, that might affect things, won't it? Let me take a look at the date because
That could impede your chances.
For Pete's sake, I think it totally does.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll be a nation of zombies by then, and it won't matter. But maybe not. Maybe
June 27th and 28th. So, sorry, California. Just now realized that.
Yeah, take California.
California's been taken.
Yeah, it's been taken. Well,
all right. Well,
more on that later. Okay. Well, we've done all we can do for the top of the show. That's all
we can do. Mm-hmm.
And now there's this, because there's nothing else.
I don't watch the news.
It's time for the news, brought to you by
Core moved because of coronavirus. It's now tonight at around 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Well, I'm happy to actually to say that Bo was feeling under the weather, but not because of the. Well, I guess we don't know because he can't get tested.
Been tested? Jeez,
he
I don't know.
Tested, but I think he's feeling better today. We're going to definitely record tonight unless something crazy happens. So that'll be tonight at 7. Cool. So all kinds of content today. You're going to get Current Geek today. I have my night's going to be nuts, but it's going to roll right into that. So I'll record that. Lots of stuff happening. So if you're into video games, you want to hear about the E3 cancellation and what that means for video games and our thoughts on a more digitally presented industry, which I think was coming anyway. This might just hurry that up. I have lots of thoughts on that. We'll talk about that tonight, among many other things, so check it out. Core, frogpants.com/core or frogpants.tv at 7 p.m. Mountain. All right. Nice. Let's dive in here. Hey, Matt Gaetz. I mentioned him yesterday, or Tuesday, when Jury was on.
You did.
And Jury clutched pearls about it, so I didn't talk much about it. But here's the thing, and this story isn't even. I'm not even dragging or throwing shade here,
right.
Because I think. Imagine being somebody. It doesn't matter who you are, and I don't care what affiliation you are, what president it is. Doesn't matter. Let's say there's a pandemic happening, and you may have been exposed to it, and then you took a trip on Air Force One by the president's invitation, and then found out later you may have carried it from where you'd gotten it onto the plane and possibly had passed that around to the president and all the president's men before you got off of that plane. Imagine how that might feel. That would be a really rough day you'd be having.
It totally would be. Yeah, exactly.
So that leads into this story. Matt Gaetz, he's a representative from down there in Florida, ended up sleeping in a Walmart parking lot after potentially exposing Trump to the coronavirus. He had a whirlwind day. He learned he was exposed to the coronavirus, and it ended with a Walmart parking lot. According to the Pensacola News-Journal, the Florida congressman was initially skeptical of the virus, going as far as to wear that gas mask on the House floor, which was what I was making fun of on Tuesday. But he was forced to self-quarantine aboard Air Force One, sitting next to President Donald Trump on the ride over. On the plane, Gaetz learned he had posed for a photo with someone who had later tested positive for COVID-19. To take maximum precautions, he was reportedly slept in a Walmart parking lot somewhere off Interstate 85 in the back of his, on his drive back from Florida from Washington, D.C.
I really do want to know what vehicle. Like, is this like a little Subaru and he's like scrunched up in the back seat?
Yeah, just all cozied up in there. I don't know.
Old 1971 Subaru or
who knows? It says when he when he wore the mask, people were criticizing him, obviously myself included. Gaetz was taking the coronavirus, or how seriously he was taking the outbreak, but following his self-quarantine aboard Air Force One. Was he self-quarantined on the plane? Anyway, it says after he had been in close contact with President Donald Trump, coitus, just kidding, in the same car on the way to the flight. Oh, yeah, so that's dangerous. Gaetz hit the road and skipped staying at a hotel, electing instead to spend the night in the Walmart parking lot. I slept in the parking lot somewhere off 85, he told the News-Journal from his car, and then completed the rest of his drive. He is currently under 14 days
wow.
What do you call it? What's the word?
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah. But that's pretty intense. Like,
that is pretty
again,
intense.
Taking away all the politics. The leader of the free world is in the car with you, and you're right next to him, and you have it, and you didn't know it. That's heavy, man.
Yeah, it totally is.
Wow.
You know what? I guess the noble thing to do I'm assuming that he decided not to do a hotel to not spread the virus, and that's why he did the Walmart parking lot and not for any other weird reason.
Right. And by the way, I know I've said coitus a lot. I'll stop now, Bobby Franks. Okay, there's this thing about Walmart parking lots where I guess they encourage people or say it's fine if people want to park there all night.
Right, RVs or whatever. I don't know if, you can just park your Kia Soul and sleep in the back of it. I guess I could find out.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. One of these days, I kind of want to find out. Is that weird that I want to find out if I can just go park my Prius? Or no, what do I have?
And is there a weird like secret 2 a.m. Walmart parking lot party that happens every night that you're sworn to secrecy about?
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Is there something else about this I don't know? Do they let you in and you get they give you like coffee, or you get to go to the little thing? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Subway or the McDonald's, whichever one it has.
It's been a while since I've slept in a car. Back when I was in college, I used to do it every morning because if you wanted good parking, you had to get there at like 5 a.m. And then I would sleep until 7 because my classes weren't till 7. So I would sleep in the car.
Just so you could get the parking
just
spot?
so I could get the parking. Otherwise, you were screwed. You just had to walk miles.
To save yourself 10 minutes of extra walking, you'd get there 2 hours in advance and sleep in your car?
I did. This is the truth. I did. And it wasn't even then, it was like, am I going to get parking anywhere? Like, it was so bad back then. They've since expanded the university parking, but in the day, it was so bad. Anyway, so I'd do that.
That's fine.
I want to know, did he has an RV, Blue Ridge? Or no, Kellogg 7 says Gaetz was driving an RV. Is that true?
Yeah, he has an RV. A little Airstream.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. That's fine.
No,
then.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a Subaru Brat with a freaking open bed in the back or something like.
Right, Pontiac Aztek which has the tent built in.
Yeah. And that new Tesla's got that tent unit deal going.
Oh, really? The Cybertruck?
Yeah, it has a very Aztec. I mean, you could see a very
That's very cyber.
You could see Walter White in there. Sure, why not?
Totally could see him. Yeah, a little pizza on the roof.
But anyways, the point is, what a weird thing. Weird thing.
I think the takeaway from that is what a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. I kind of want to test it though. I just want to see what is the world of parking at a Walmart overnight. What is that world? And I'd record a bunch of it. Kind of get some video and audio. Maybe talk to some other people I see pull up at like 2 a.m. in their RV.
Fun, right? To do like a little man on the street, except man in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, I'd be like,
you cut a quick cut video on YouTube, and you have the music from Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Oh man, we've been ruined by media. Everything you're saying right now is totally accurate as to what we should do, and it's only because we've seen it 1,000 times in other things.
It totally is. Yes.
But I would love that. I'd go up to a guy and go, "Hey, I saw you guys just pull up. I hope you don't mind. Is it possible I could just talk to you for a second?" And they'll talk to me, and I'll find out. And then I'll realize, I don't want to do this at 2:00 in the morning. This is all just a bad idea. I'm not going to do it.
Honestly, I think it would be a blast. Once our pandemic is over, I would love to like rent an RV, fly to LA, rent an RV in LA, and go from one coast to the other coast, and do little mini meetups in key cities along the way, and just have like a little.
Just document it.
See the country,
Document the whole thing. It'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I could do my work, the stuff I do from the road. So
yeah, aren't there better? I guess it's. I don't know if it's satellite still, or how do people do internet on mobile now these days? I just hook up 5G to their phone and tether everything.
Probably,
maybe?
Yeah. That's what I would do. Is I would just tether.
Yeah, I think that would be the way to do it.
Hotspot my phone.
Because I think
It's hotspotted, man. Hotspot.
Yeah, you want a hotspot? Check it out. Tethered to my phone.
Stop in the Walmart parking lot, play some hacky sack with the locals.
Oh, hacky sack at 2 a.m. in a Walmart parking lot with locals.
Perfect.
Oh, Brian. All right. Retirement plan.
Sounds like a blast, doesn't it? Come on.
Retirement plan locked in. Sounds good to me.
Yes. Exactly.
A miserable man is in the news. We're going to talk about this miserable man. It's not Matt Gaetz. A miserable man tattooed his entire body blue to feel confident.
Oh,
I don't think it's going to work.
Dabba-doo, dabba-die.
He's blue and he thinks he's a guy. How's that go? Does that go like that?
I know that you're not the first person to tell me that they thought the lyrics were that.
I thought that was it.
It's just dabba-dee, dabba-die. It's even like I think it's in the parenthetical of the title. Blue
So it's not-
dabba-dee, dabba-die.
So it's not words at all. It's just
No.
nonsense. Okay.
Dabba-dee, dabba-die.
I think
dabba-dee,
I'm a
dabba-die.
guy. Yeah, I think I'm a guy. It's not that? Okay.
It's not that, no.
I think in my heart of hearts, I feel like I knew it wasn't that, but it's still good to have confirmation.
It totally is, yeah.
Well, this guy tattooed his entire body blue with ink, has a simple reason for giving himself a Smurf-like tinge. He says, to be honest, I just like the look of it, says Donnie Snyder, a former forklift driver from Canada. I thought it would be neat, he said. It has taken just 3 years for Snyder to transform himself into a jewelry-making, bus-dwelling blue dude. In 2017, Snyder, who lives in Scarborough, Ontario, asked his sister to ink a portion of his leg and foot with a bright turquoise hue. And the rest, he told the Jam Press, is history. It's like living in a strange mode. Or living in strange mode, says the 26-year-old. It's definitely striking, and I think it's a beautiful color. He's pretty zen about this, sounds like.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
He is just totally, I'm looking at the video of him, and he is just...
He says he was
blue, but it's more of like a light blue.
Yeah, it's not quite Smurfy, right?
No, I think it's actually more Smurfy than like Blue Man Group blue. Like it's almost like it is kind of a light blue teal turquoise. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Let's see.
He's
Here, chat, you guys.
his
can see
arms, the underside of his arms aren't blue though.
it. Yeah, why would you did not do that?
Like this area is
Yeah.
still
Yeah. Also, his hands and his wrists are not blue yet. It looks like he just went nuts with a marker.
It does.
One of those smelly blueberry markers or something. Oh, look at this where he went all Tetris on his chest.
I totally did, right?
Wow. I mean, you know what? To each their own, dude. That's great. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Go for it. Be you. You be you. I'll be me.
You probably get work at Culver's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other places where their logo, all their branding is blue, and he could just get a job. IBM, he could probably work for IBM.
You work for IBM for Big Blue.
Yeah.
Best Buy.
No, Best Buy's yellow, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's yellow and blue.
It's
There's
blue,
that, yeah.
prominently blue, and then yellow accents like the logo, text logo. But like when you're in a Best Buy, it's always dudes in
Yeah,
dark
that's true.
pants and blue shirts.
Blue shirts and yeah,
So he could be your geek squad or whatever.
that's right.
That's fantastic. Well done, dude. You be you. Seriously, don't worry about it.
Yeah, good on you, man. Good on you.
Sea turtles in the news. Always got to check in on these guys because you know they're kind of
Keep an eye on
endangered.
them. They're fun.
Yeah, they're important. Turns out, need them.
They know how to get you to that jet stream that'll get you to Australia.
That's what I've seen in movies. Sea turtles are eating ocean plastic because it smells like food. A new study says.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Across the world, sea turtles are swallowing bits of plastic in the ocean because they're often dying as a result. There are many theories about why sea turtles and other marine animals ingest the plastic. Some people have long speculated that they mistake it for food because of its appearance. For instance, turtles will eat plastic bags that look like a jellyfish. Makes sense. Walmart bag floating around with a
sure. Totally looks like a
best
jellyfish.
price or lowest prices, whatever they say on the side. And they go, I'll eat that. And they eat it and it's bad. But here's some new news. The scientists from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill realized these explanations didn't quite account for whether the turtles would be attracted or the turtles could be attracted to how plastic actually smells. The top, that line doesn't work. In a study published Monday in Current Biology. Boy, that's got to be
Current biology.
That's a page
I've got
turner.
Current biology.
You know, they're just when you read that, you just can't wait to get to the end. You're just so excited.
Right, exactly. Oh, I go straight to the comics.
Oh yeah. I would too. Says here, let's see. They confirmed this question for the first time. Sea turtles do mistake the scent of plastic for food. Quote, this finding is important because it is the first demonstration that the odor of ocean plastics causes animals to eat them, says biologist Kenneth J. Lohman. It's common to find loggerhead turtles. I guess that's a kind of turtle. Hadn't heard of that before. With their digestive systems full or partially blocked because they have eaten plastic materials. That's sad. I don't like this.
That is really sad. Yeah.
Let's see. In the study, they had 15 of these turtles. They were in captivity for 5 months, delivered to a series of airborne smells, or had a series of airborne smells delivered to them. They ignored the sense of clean plastic and water, but responded to the smell of food and ocean-soaked plastics by sticking their nose out of the water to smell them. So, like, if you had, I don't know, let's say plastic that contained beef for a long trip, and then somehow that plastic ended up in the ocean, that plastic smells like beef. It smells like beef!
Yeah, smells like beef.
Like that kid always did. I smell like beef. I wonder where that is. Do I have that?
Yeah, I've gone as strawless as I can go at restaurants.
Yeah.
Even if I'm ordering like an Arnold Palmer, because that's when you kind of want a straw so that you can stir it. I just ask for a spoon if I don't have one and just stir it that way.
Sure.
But the thing, so Starbucks had this thing where they came out with these plastic lids that negated the need for a straw. It was almost like a sippy cup lid, right? Because it covers the drink, but then there's like it comes to a little bit of a point.
Right. Our local Zao does this fusion Chinese Mexican place does that with their cups. It's like a little, you're right. It's kind of like this coffee cup here.
Oh yeah. Kind of like the coffee cup where you got the little hole there. Yeah.
Yeah. Except it's like, there's like a dip so you can actually kind of straw suck it. I don't know how it works.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Which, that we all know that the best reason for a straw is to keep the ice from going into your mouth when you're drinking a cold drink.
That's right.
So so I guess what I'm saying is more we need to I know we still have the plastic lids, I know, but until we can figure out a good way to get away from those, maybe cardboard lids or something like that. But
they still do the thing here downtown where, like, for a while they called it Straw Lake City, but they just don't give straws unless people request them. And so instead of the default thing, somebody says, hey, can I get like at a restaurant that normally would bring you a straw with your cups or glasses, they just don't do it. And I think it made they were able to calculate it made some impact, like some
it makes a little bit of a difference.
Not big enough to change the world, but every little bit helps.
But every little bit helps. Exactly.
That's right. Anyway, poor turtles, hope they're okay. Finally in the news. This is pretty good.
This makes me hungry.
Yeah, it does me too. Especially because it's Oregon, right? Because they're always the best in Oregon. Anyway,
I think Voodoo Donut's overrated. Sorry, send your emails, whatever. But
aren't there other places there that are like super good that are better than Voodoo?
Oh, I don't know. Is that like a donut capital now?
There's
Portland
I think what happened is Voodoo got too mainstream, and then a bunch of others popped up and outdid them or something.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
Like Rusty Nail says, the ODB is off the chain. What's that?
I don't know what that means.
ODB.
ODB. Is that an old donut bar or something like that?
The old donut bar.
The old donut bar.
Cowboy Donuts is another one. Yeah.
We've got one place here in Arvada called OMG Donuts.
Oh.
And
nice.
it's run by a slight Asian man. Like, he's very thin and wiry, but he is like the nicest guy. When they first opened, he didn't have the credit card machine working, and it was like they had just opened, and I was like, and this was before Weight Watchers, and I was like, you know what, I'll go, and we had Tristan and Simon living with us at the time, so I'm like, all right, but it's Sunday morning, I'll go out and get some donuts for the kids, and I'll try the new donut place. So I go over there to get a dozen, and he boxes it up, and I get my card out to pay him, and he's like, oh no, our card machine's not hooked up yet.
Yeah.
And I said, oh shoot, I don't have cash. He says, no problem, just write your name here, and next time you come in, just pay.
Oh.
And I'll put a little number next to put a little thing next to your name saying how much these were, and next time you come in, just pay. And next time I came in, not only did I pay, but I gave him like a $10 tip for being so cool about that.
That's awesome.
And his donuts are really good.
You know what, the world. This actually reminds me of a thing. I've got a wackadoo semi-relative on Facebook telling people to avoid Chinese restaurants because of the coronavirus.
Jeez.
And I don't understand that because,
yeah.
well, I can't speak for everybody, but most of the Chinese restaurants near me that are good are owned by Chinese Americans who don't live in China, who haven't had contact with anybody in China.
Right, of course.
Their food's all sourced
The food
here.
comes from different, like the food probably comes from America. They're not getting egg rolls shipped over from the mainland. They're getting it from Cisco Services or whatever it is.
I guess I'm not outright calling her racist, but I don't know. It's a little on the edge there.
I think it's misinformed. She's not coming up with this on her own. She's hearing it from somebody else, from somebody that she follows and trusts and respects. And
yeah, that's
Bio
true.
Cow's right. Tell her to avoid Italian food as well. I bet she doesn't. I bet she says no.
Guaranteed she won't. Yeah, because she's not thinking about how actually bad it is in Italy right now.
Exactly.
By her thinking, you should be worried. If you're thinking about the Chinese restaurant, is it all correct? Then you should be worried about the Italian restaurant.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, that's the answer. What am I thinking? I'm going to Facebook later and putting it in there. Woo!
Oh, Rusty Nail says the ODB is a donut at Voodoo. It's a chocolate glazed donut with crumbled Oreos, then covered in chocolate syrup and peanut butter sauce.
Oh, that sounds all right.
It
sounds. I mean,
it sounds like something I would have eaten 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say back in my Shug days, I would have eaten that.
Yeah, exactly. But
for sure.
No.
Yeah, I don't go to the Olive Garden for other reasons, guys. All right. Anyway, so this deal, this police in Oregon say a man robbed a donut shop with a hatchet. He was later found eating a donut. That's my favorite part of the headline.
We should ban all hatchets. Yeah, like that they found him later eating a donut.
He's eating a donut. Oh, really? Weird. Yeah. He's caught with the stuff. All right. Police in Oregon arrested a man.
Did he steal donuts or money?
He stole donuts, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it says right here he allegedly robbed a box of donuts with a hatchet, left with a box of donuts, and stopped a short distance away to eat one of the donuts.
Be on the lookout. The suspect is glazed and dangerous.
Oh, Lord. Let's see. Oh, it was a Voodoo location even.
Oh, it was a Voodoo. Look at that.
I forgot to mention that.
Good. That's how you get your ODB.
That's right. It was only a block away. He just couldn't wait. He had to eat, so he ate it only a block away. But Portland Police Bureau said no one was injured in the incident. The hatchet was recovered from the donut shop. James, age 40, is the guy, was arrested on a first-degree felony robbery and taken to a county detention center.
Okay, hold on. So the hatchet was recovered from the donut shop.
Yeah.
So at one point, he had the box of donuts, and they had the hatchet?
Either that or he went, all right, I'm out, and then slammed it, hatcheted it into the counter and left. That's what I picture.
Again, still, he walks out of there with a box of donuts.
Yep.
And they now have the hatchet.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair trade.
Yeah. But I mean, it seems like at that point they could have stopped him. Once the hatchet was out of his hands.
Yeah.
He's not going to rob a hatchet store with a box of donuts.
Okay, somebody submit the title, Rob a Hatchet Store with a Box of Donuts. That's pretty good. That's really funny. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird story, but only in Oregon, I guess. So nice job, guys.
Only in Oregon.
Nice.
We told Fred Armisen and Carrie Brownstein do a skit about it.
Damn straight. All right. Speaking of being damn and straight. No, that's not right here. We're going to be back in a minute with Wendy. We got some stuff to talk about, and that'll be right after this break with a song Brian has. What do you have there?
All right. Well, it's not common for me to use an indie in the middle that is over 5 or 6 minutes long, unless it is really, really good. Today's indie in the middle is a 9.5-minute song. All right. I'm not going to lie. It's a long song, but it doesn't feel long because it's so good. This is kind of like your craft work, your Pet Shop Boys. It's so, I don't know. I really, really like the song. And so it does feel like Dream Theater, but it's a song that's good enough to make me break my no songs over 5 or 6 minutes rule. The band or the performer is a guy named Steven Wilson. It's a brand new album that he's got coming out. The Future Bites, which comes out June 12th. Okay. Via the Future Bites Corporation, so it's his own indie label.
Yeah.
The song is called Personal Shopper, and it is really, really good. Here's Steven Wilson and Personal Shopper.
I'm Gravedigger Jones.
The morning stream. Computer, Stop the flow of time.
All right, I have to tell you how this worked because you're a music guy. You'll appreciate it.
Yes.
This lady was. I cut out the parts where she was singing what's the September song?
September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, and when she would do the this is the sound she was making.
Oh,
That was what she was doing instead.
How do you remember? It was in September.
That's basically it.
It was a cloudy day.
And the rest of it was just so, pedestrian and boring that I thought, well, I'm just going to cut out the weird bits. And so that's what that is.
Love it. Love it.
Anyway, a little fun behind the scenes how I do it thing.
Yeah.
All right. My sister.
Did have a little bit of a Yoko vibe to it, Matuba.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. How's she doing? She's all right? She's around.
She's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Does she do music?
Came out with an album a couple years ago, as a matter of fact, and
Yeah.
it was horrendous.
I mean, has it ever been good, or have I just missed the boat on why Yoko Ono was good? Was she always good? Was she? I mean,
I think it's one of those things where you, if you like that style of performance art, then you like what Yoko does.
great. Do you think she
Does that make
hangs?
sense?
She goes to. Do you think she vacations with the McCartneys or anything like that? Probably not.
No, I definitely not. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of.
Yeah, some
I
animosity.
didn't even know if Julian talks to her, right? Like,
their actual kid. Yeah,
yeah, right. One of their kids.
she was just a piece of performance art to her.
hello.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How the heck are you? Hey.
Quit interrupting our conversation.
Yeah,
Wendy.
what are
We're
you
doing
doing
with
there?
something here.
I couldn't find a window, and then I was like, oh.
Oh, I forgot to change your intro. I told you I would, and then I forgot. So
rude.
instead, you know what? Let's just do a random one. Let's see. Let's do like. All right, here we go. No, that's not you. Hold on. Here we go.
Wendy's has the taste.
There you go. Wendy's has the taste. Hey, it's Wendy Dunford. She's my sister. Full disclosure, but she's also a trained professional in the area of psychology and therapy, and she comes on Thursdays, and we talked about the world of helping people with their therapy issues. Maybe they've got a breakup that was real hard, or maybe they had some stuff growing up that they want to deal with now, or whatever it is. Those are the kinds of things we help with. Today's a little two-pronged. One is some good news.
Yes. Let's hear it.
So I'm going to read this email. Hold on. I thought I had it up, and I don't. There it is. Nope, there it is. Oh, shoot. Where did it go? I sent it to Wendy, so where did it go? This is great.
I have it. Do you want me to read it?
You know what? If you have it... Oh, you know what? Wait. I think I found it. Nope, I lost it. All right, yes. If you... I don't know why I don't have it, but if you have it in front of you, if you wouldn't mind reading it, that'd be wonderful.
Yes. So this is okay. Remember, long ago there was a family. They had a little boy and Grandpa. They were worried about the interaction with Grandpa. Grandpa was real grumpy.
Totally remember this. Yeah, it was
And I'm trying to remember if the Grandpa actually had more going on.
I remember he was just like so, like.
Oh, BPD. That's right. Paranoia.
Right.
Borderline personality. Yeah, like significant stuff. And they were talking about like, should we just stop all contact?
Yeah.
What do we do to protect our son? So anyway, this was their follow-up email. A bit back, let's see. My husband, okay, so this is from the wife. So the husband had emailed about this.
Right.
Regarding my father, his mental health in regards to our son. I wanted to take a second to update you and thank you. The advice you gave was listened to several times and on many occasions. Finn is now 3 and enjoying a beautiful relationship with both of his grandfathers. You have reminded us as parents to take time to protect our son by means of understanding, as well as vetting my father and his disposition. This allows us to spend more or less time unsupervised with Papa as his mood allows. Papa's like Grandpa.
Yeah.
And then she said, reminder, BPD, presenting with paranoia. We talked with Papa every day on the way home from daycare. It allows us to help him out of an episode or at his worst days, and keeps his mind positive on the good ones. Finn enjoys telling him about his day and being silly with him. All is well here in our household, as well as can be expected.
That's awesome. I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like let's
good follow up, good like happy ending, or at least a happy path to a happy ending.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And when you guys have
Yeah.
those, when we've read your emails here or we've talked about your situation and things improve for you, let us know. If they don't, you can let us know
Either
too,
way.
because
Yeah.
we'd love to follow up and maybe help more. You learn more information, or you found something else out, and we can help more. Whatever.
Exactly.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
And Wendy's, she gets zip for this, other than the satisfaction of helping people.
Other than keeping my brother sane.
That's right, keeping me sane. It's all about me in the end. It's all about me.
It is. I'll do anything for my brother.
Well, in the breaking news that the Boston Marathon was just canceled, let's this just happened. I guess the chat room just told me.
Oh man, I wonder if they're going to cancel the MS 150. I could see that if this is now going to like marathons and things like that. Jeez.
Well, the Boston Marathon is when normally? Hold on.
I thought it was
Memorial Day? No, that's the New York
later. Oh no, maybe it's earlier.
To 2020. I can't find it. I can't find the date, but
Yeah, because they canceled it, Scott.
Yeah, it's canceled.
yeah, I guess there's no. I don't know what the date would have been, but anyway, I was just curious how deep into the summer it
April
went.
April 20. 420, man. It would've been
420. Oh man, blaze up! All right, well, so that's the latest in a string of what feels like I said yesterday. Somebody in the chat room said it better. They said, "Man, yesterday was a hell of a week," and that is how yesterday felt because there was so much stuff going on. One of which was a big one, which was the NBA suspending its entire season. Based primarily on a Utah Jazz player who made things real dumb.
Who jokingly touched a bunch of mics beforehand, like to be funny, and no, that's not funny.
Yeah, and as of this morning,
Now that you have it, dude.
yeah,
Ugh.
now there's another player with it. It's another Jazz player has it, and it's anyway. And somebody is it the Warriors or somebody else yesterday said another team, some other player has it. They were already going to cut back and like do audienceless games and stuff like that.
But when the teams are manhandling each other during a game and you got all those guys,
it gets real weird. So anyway, that we talked about a little bit at the top of the show and now again, and all these things are happening. Brian and I talked at the top of the show about how we're adjusting our thoughts and feelings and plans for Vegas, and that may end up just not happening. It may end up happening in a much smaller way. We don't know, but like all of these things.
When is that planned for?
It's in 2 weeks, and
2 weeks from today is the trip specifically.
Yeah, and we've been planning on this since what? When did we lock this in last year? It was like October or something.
November, October. Yeah, it was. So when I had to say, sorry, we're not going to go to the pinball thing. Who knows? The pinball thing might have gotten canceled as well. The big pinball, Dallas Pinball Festival.
Yeah, and that's what's weird is everything. Oh yeah, I'll bet it does. Because pinball, everyone's touching pinball machines.
Everybody's touching the pinball machines. It's a closed.
I didn't think about that.
Air conditioning environment. Everybody's breathing the same air, touching the same pinball machines.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So the thing Brian and I were originally going to go to in Dallas is probably in some flux. And anyway, as a result, just all this stuff happening at once. And I don't see it as so much panic as I see it as like, everyone's like, okay, well, no, this is a real one. The World Health Organization says, yeah, this is a straight up pandemic, so self-isolation is a good idea. The best illustration of this, by the way, that I saw was like 5 matches. Okay, it was like a photo face down of matches lined up together, and there were like 5 matches in a row that were all burned out. And then there was one match next to it that should have been burned out, but it was pulled way down, so it wouldn't ignite when the others lit. And then all the other matches that were up again on the other side weren't lit either because this one guy decided to stay home. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like the one match stayed out of the way, so the rest of the matches didn't catch on fire. It's a little simplistic, but that's kind of the idea. It's like if we want to stop this or slow it, you got to try to not mingle and, we're social creatures, but just hold back a little bit for a bit. And in all of this, there is the bigger question, which is what we're going to talk about today a little bit, of how do we treat each other in a time like this? And so Wendy, I just want to throw this out there, and you can, if this isn't the direction we want to go, you can smack me and we can go a different way. But all you hear about, and this is a whole nother issue, and we've talked certainly about, pulling yourself away from social media or media in general more often. But all you seem to hear about is, do you hear about that guy in that Costco came in there in full military fatigues, stole water out of an old lady's hand and punched her in the face? Remember, did you hear about that? And then we all think, oh, It's mayhem. Everyone must be doing that. When really, there's a lot of other stories about a little old couple in a parking lot I heard about this morning, and it wasn't very publicized, but I heard about them today. They were like in their 80s, and they were afraid to go into the store, but they needed some basics. And somebody heard them in their car crying and talking about what to do, and he offered to go get everything for them. And you don't hear about those. Those don't get the headlines. What the headlines give you is the wackadoo in the Costco that stole the water from the lady. So if there's a way we can talk about this in a how should we be treating each other in a stressful time like this, but also how not to get so caught up in, oh, everyone sucks and everyone treats everyone like garbage, and just, I don't know, pull away from that stuff, because I'm having to do it. Because I know not everybody's punching each other for water. I know that. It's the ones that get the news are the ones that are the weird one-offs that happen in some rare case. And the truth is, those people were doing weird stuff like that before all this. So anyway, I just wanted
that dude's been stealing water from old ladies for a generation.
Yeah, you don't just do that, right? You don't just suddenly go that direction. And I, more often than not, people are helping each other. I don't buy the Walking Dead idea that everyone turns on everybody. I just don't buy it. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm overly optimistic about that.
I know. You haven't seen those videos from Costco.
But that's my whole point. The Costco things are all you get to see are those and nothing else. And so...
Yeah, because sometimes we try to catch nice things on our phones and video it, right? And then you get to see those. But most people...
Really? I don't know.
I mean, maybe you don't.
We need to do that more. It's like, oh, look at that. That guy's just giving that, getting up from the subway and giving that lady her seat. I'm going to video this and put it on Twitter. No, I'm going to videotape the guy who's cussing up a blue streak and spitting on the floor on the subway.
I mean, once in a while you get it from famous people. Like there's that famous thing where Keanu Reeves gives a seat to somebody on the subway in New York. This is a really sweet moment that he doesn't even know he's being filmed. The lady doesn't even seem to know who he is. And he's just like, oh, no, let me get in. Like, he did it out of this, like, this is how I was raised. I'm going to give this nice old lady my seat. Like, of course I am, or whatever. I like stuff like that. But that's Keanu Reeves, so somebody's filming it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's what makes it few and far between. And we don't...
Well, let's talk about the foundation of all of this and sort of humanness, right? Because it's been fascinating. I really am sad if they cancel like March Madness or something, because I want social psychologists to study the athletes playing without crowds. Like I want so much data out of this, and I know that's awful and I shouldn't be thinking that way, but I do. Be
doubly fascinating with the fact that it's madness.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, hey,
exactly.
Just real quick, just to back you up on that, I also had the exact same thought about these games for the March Madness. I hope that they stick and that they go on. They go on, because that is really fascinating data, and I think it's okay to look at some of this stuff and go, well, this is pretty dire, but here's a chance for us to do a thing we never can do otherwise. Like
or even just like cutting production out of factories and watching what happens to the earth, right? Like reducing air travel. What happened?
Right.
Like, I just hope people are paying attention.
Even when you flip it the other way and say, like yesterday on DTNS, we had a big topic about what is all this going to do to internet usage, because all your peak times are going to change. All of your, people that normally are all at work, all that work internet is different than what it is if people are at home and they're working from home and they're doing it at different hours. Like, there are actually things they have to think about. Like, they're not equipped necessarily for that. So this is a chance for them to again, not really want to do it, but now that you got to do it, there's a chance to learn from this. And the same thing goes for, I keep talking about the video game industry. They're canceling all events. Like E3 got canceled. Developers Conference was already canceled. Like, all these things, one after another, keep getting canceled. And I already thought that that industry was heading to more of a digital presentation anyway. And now they're being forced to kind of do it. So they're having a chance to say, all right, well, if we're now forced to, what do we actually do now? Where are our strengths in this? And maybe it ends up being the more dominant thing. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, across the board, there's a chance to learn something from this, and it isn't just dire freak out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But if we go, I mean, yes, not but, I didn't mean to say but. I really would love some fun studies that are done on this, but
totally,
there's something also going on, which is like the very fundamental human survival instincts and fear-based whatever is getting sort of tested in interesting ways that are new, right? So think back to 9/11. So 9/11 happens, and there is this feeling of camaraderie and connectivity. And, when I lived in Sweden, the way they would talk about that event, I went with Swedes to the 9/11 memorial, and they talked about just memories and how people talked about it and this sort of unity everyone felt and around the world. But it had this enemy that was a group of people who wanted to harm. And so it was like a very clear cut bad guys, and we like that. We're sort of built to like that. And this is something very different. This is everyone goes from, your comrade to your enemy, depending on if they have the virus or not, right? Yeah. So like the enemy is invisible and and so you can really be irresponsible with your behavior that then impacts other people, which would make somebody mad. We have this in small doses all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. Where someone drives recklessly and you put us all in danger. And it's like, there's a fury I have for drunk driving that I can't even explain. But that is here in a local place, in a local time, in a hit and miss, or, whatever it might be. This is everyone at the same time watching the same news, getting the same, fear-based everything. Yeah. And so it puts us in this weird conundrum. We don't have a black and white bad guy. We don't have a way to sort of know if we're safe or not. And this instinct to buy water and toilet paper and soap is fascinating. Because did none of you wash your hands before? Is what I'm seriously wondering about.
Right.
And then the urge to have water. So this is not waterborne. It cannot be transmitted through water. The water supplies, it will be fine. Yeah. Now, workers at water plants, I guess you could get to like the doomsday scenario with that, but there is something impulsive and sort of intrinsic about get me water.
Yeah.
Which is because we need it to survive, right? It makes a lot of sense. So we also need a lot of toilet paper, I guess, to survive. Like we're really into those two things. But then where does this translate into what's happening now? So you have a lot of people in various camps, right? You have, I had a friend just yesterday. She is at a water park in Wisconsin. It's huge. It's just like this giant indoor. It's called the Wisconsin Dells, and they're known for just hotel and massive indoor water resort after another. That's all it is. And she's like, I have just finally had time to pay attention to the news. And yesterday was crazy. She's like, I'm going to die in Wisconsin in a water park. And she is not an anxious human being. She has, she doesn't think she's actually going to get coronavirus or anything. She's just worried about, she works with a lot of groups of people, lots of students. She runs a Girls on the Run organization here. And so she's training coaches. She's in and out of schools. If she's contagious, she's going to harm a lot of people. And so she really is thinking about that, right? But so it's going from people who are freaked out to everyone having anxiety about this maybe all at once. Whereas there's plenty of people who are anxious about things all the time. Actually, that's who I'm the most worried about, is when you're already up to your eyeballs with fear and concern and sort of anxiety generally. And then we've added this on top. How are they all doing?
Yeah.
Because I am not an anxious person, and I have felt when they shut down the NBA, I was like, oh snap, this is real.
Well, because because the number one motivator for most giant organizations is money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone's giving it up.
Every single thing in that scenario with that NBA thing is a massive, many millions, perhaps billions of dollars. Yeah, it's just huge.
Yeah.
So like,
and plus all the trickle down, right? Like everyone that works there, the security, the people selling you the hot dog, the halftime folks. I mean, it's just impacts, and this is true of all of these gatherings, right? And so if money is the main priority, and they're going to cancel it. Now, obviously, money still remains a priority if you are the place where it spreads everywhere. That's going to ruin your brand forever. You know what I mean? So there's also a value in canceling.
Yeah. And I mean, even to the point that if you really want to start, I mean, I know that it has a sort of a trickle down effect, and the markets are often an alarming symbol of what's happening. When you see the stock market take the kind of dive it took. and that sort of thing, it's usually just a prediction of what's about to come. But if you think about just one of these conferences, like GDC alone, the Game Developers Conference, the one Carter was supposed to go to and they canceled, I don't know, that's probably a $300 million loss to everybody, including organizers and everybody involved in it. And it goes all the way down to the little 2-man development team that was going to fly there from the Netherlands and show off their new product, like all the way up to, Sony and Microsoft and everybody else. Like, it's just top to bottom, so much money. And for a society that's primarily a consumer-based sort of a capitalist society, to just sort of turn those things off like they were a switch is a big freaking deal. Like, it's not a small thing. And so, I don't exactly understand there's still people that I know who think this is a hoax, or that it's being made up, or it was fabricated by the Chinese to take everybody down. Or I've even heard a conspiracy theory that the basketball players on purpose are catching this so that they can spread it around and shut down the NBA, so it has to be restructured, or some weird conspiracy I was reading on Facebook. Like, there's no shortage of that stuff. But again, it's because I have access to it. These wackadoos always existed, but now they have a platform that they have just as equal access to as I do. And they can just say the thing, and then that just piles onto that anxiety for some people. I mean, I read those things and go, dude, what the frick are you talking about? Peddle that somewhere else. But, it's a numbers game. Enough people believe in a thing, and they do it themselves. I'm not trying to turn this into social media is the problem, and because I don't know that it is. It's just that in this particular case,
nature plus social media is the problem.
Right.
Right.
Like when SARS happened in what, 2002 or 3, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of this then.
Nope.
We had the internet, but we didn't have any of this. And so you didn't have the same, freak out, or you didn't, not freak out. You didn't have the same access to the freak out.
Right.
That you have now.
Or the means to create or amplify the freak out.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also on the flip side, the ability to get in touch with everyone and get them to behave a little better in order to do some good things, right? Like the flip side also exists because, and it's tricky, right? Those grandparents sitting in their car, right?
Yeah.
Like, they need to be cautious. But this, to me, I just feel like it's the vacuum of leadership, right? Like, when you feel like the person in charge of all this is a moron, or is germaphobe himself and xenophobic and paranoid anyway, like, this just feels like, I'm sorry, but I'm mad. I'm mad about it because it matters. It matters how somebody who we need to look up to handles certain things. And this is why chaos often can result. And I think, unfortunately, companies have to do it because people in government don't know how to be grown-ups, right? And so they're saying, Delta's response, or the emails I've gotten from the companies that, I have interactions with, have made me feel better. I was like, wow, see, that's an email written by a grown-up who knows how to say, here's what's going on. How can we help you? These lines are open. We are leading. And you just go, dang it. This doesn't have to be how it is.
Right.
But I think that's true. And this will get to the solving problem. Not that I have this answer to this. I do not. But I do have, going back to each of us individually. Like, what are we doing? Because to me, the thing that is more contagious than the coronavirus will ever be is human fear.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of our greatest assets and one of our worst things about us, but it's what's kept us alive for as long as it has, right? And so we are messing with it in a pretty profound way. So I also hope someone's studying that. Yeah. I have lots of wishes with studies, but if you think about it, what are you personally doing that is exposing yourself to fear and making it worse for you and your family and messing with your mental well-being? And what are you doing that is just seeking out some good information, connecting with those that you love, having, finding a way to feel like you're doing the things you need to do, because panic gets no one anywhere, right?
Right.
And so that's a question I have for both of you. What are you doing that's exposing you. Like you're licking a pole in public of fear.
I'm right. I have a good answer. I have a good answer for this because I guess I have a question as to why this is, and maybe it's because I've always been I get anxious about lots of dumb stuff in my life. All right, always, and it's usually stuff A, I can't control, or B, is catastrophizing events that aren't here yet, or any of that. That's usually me. That's how I deal with it. However, and anyone who's seen this happen can confirm this because it does happen occasionally. But when something really hits like it's happening, it's an emergency, someone's having a seizure, or somebody fell down and hurt their head, or that person got hit by a car, whatever. Something is an emergency right now. I go into like a weird, calm leadership mode. And I'm not freaked out. I'm not anxious. And I take charge, and I want to help, and I know where to send people, and you make the phone call, and you do this, and somebody grab a blanket, and like for whatever reason, when the poop hits the fan, I'm cool as a cucumber and ready to roll. It's just when I have time to myself to think about future events I can't control that things go weird. And here's what's happened in the last couple of days for me. This thing went from a thing I can't control that's a future thing that's freaking me out, but I guess we won't really know how bad it is till July sort of thing, to being much more present and here and now. And when we block travel to Europe, for example, that was enough for me to go, oh, there's another example of, okay, this is happening now. Mm-hmm. I've flipped into a calmer mode and a more optimistic mode, weirdly. And I'm not used to this on this level. Is it
that everyone's panic has risen to your normal level and you're like,
I don't know. Maybe, but I'm not, but it's funny because I feel like I'm the one saying, well, now, I mean, what do we do? And I'm like, well, you do it, of course, what you can do, which is you take care of home, you take care of each other, you take care of your neighbors, you do what you can for your immediates, and then you try to go from there. Like to me, there's like a weird kind of simplicity to this. I know that seems crazy, but this is just how I react to things, and I don't know why. But I feel more in control and more settled right now than I have during any other. Like I'm right now, if I knew I had a dental appointment tomorrow, like Brian has one today, if I had a dental appointment tomorrow, I would be more stressed out about that dental appointment than I am about this. Not because I don't worry about this, but because it's here, because it's happening, and the danger is clear and present. There's no nebulous. There's no making anything up or trying to work it out or whatever. To me, it's just like, all right, I know what I have to do. So let's just do it.
It's like math. It's like, all right, well, there is a logical thing that has to get done. I can see the order that these things need to get done, as opposed to when it's amorphous and it's this thing that is out of your control and you can't, it's present, but far enough in the distance that you have no control over the expectations of what you can do to solve it.
Right.
Once it's kind of here in front of you, it's like, okay, here's this. I need to do this. Bottom line, we need to take care of this, and we got to get this done in this.
Yeah. If something's on fire, on fire, you don't sit around going, "Oh, what if it spreads? Oh, what if it does
exactly.
This? Oh, no, you don't do that. You go, all right, give me a bucket. Let's go. Yeah. We know what we have to do.
People, we planned for this. Let's do it.
Right. And I'm feeling a slight bit of guilt that I feel that way, because I know everyone else is feeling very freaky around me. Like, Kim's nervous. She's worried about Van, she's worried about the kids, she's worried about my mom and her parents are all in this kind of zone, especially my mom. My mom's 82 years old. She's in the prime target zone for this sort of thing, and recently was sick, and I don't want her anywhere near this thing. And so she's more worried about that stuff than I am, because I'm just saying, well, no, it's at the door, so here we go. Let's go. Let's just fix it. Let's cancel that, but let's not cancel this, and also let's how are we doing on, it's not like, and also I'm not in a hoard mode either. It's like, oh, we've got a decent food storage. We're good. It's a lot of ramen, but there's some other stuff in there. And if somebody came to the door,
nothing wrong with ramen.
if somebody came to the door and said, oh my gosh, we're all out of food and we can't go to the stores, they've shut all the stores down, we would help them. Like there is that sense.
You'd give them the ramen.
You'd give them ramen. Give them ramen. Give them ramen. But my point is, I'm not bragging about this, because I actually think it's odd that I do this. I don't, but to answer your question, that is where I'm at with this. And don't worry, because there'll be some other nebulous thing that happens in 6 months and it's supposed to happen that I'll stress about until the day, because that's what I do. But this right here is just here. It's just time. Okay, it's
So
time.
it's
Let's
helpful
go.
for you that it's arrived. And I wonder, that would be interesting to study too, those who struggle with anxiety, if this feels like, see, now you guys know how I feel all the time. Like there's some level of leveling that occurs, because I know for me, I don't ever feel anxious. And I spent a long hour nosediving into the news recently and went, oh crap, like this is scarier than, and I don't ever let myself feel scared. That's not a thing I do. And so for me to go, and you're going, oh yes, now it matches my baseline.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. And so you can calm down. I know this is a not uncommon thing for people who work in, first responders, ER doctors, ER professionals, just sort of the adrenaline of the emergency moment is they're calm as the sea. Mm-hmm. And it's like their biology and the situation match. But, on the weekend, they've got to go skydive to get some adrenaline because real life is super boring, right? So we're all sort of wired a little differently. And I think this impacts people in lots of different ways. And it really, what it needs, and you're speaking to this, Scott, is a call for being a better person. Like I go back to 9/11, you would go into a gas station full of strangers and you just all felt like brothers and sisters for a minute. It was strange. I mean, I don't know if you remember this. But I just, the fact that humans could do that for a minute is miraculous, right? But what version of that is happening all the time, right? It's happening all the time. We're just not videoing it and freaking out about it, but it's good people helping other people. It's recognizing that we're connected, that every one of us is suspect, that's not the word. Every one of us is susceptible to a invisible thing, right? Yeah. Like how humbling is this really, if you think about it? Right. And also, I mean, this is strange. I've had this thought many times, like all this stuff getting canceled, because I haven't you don't pay attention. You don't know the magnitude of human gatherings until suddenly they're canceled one after another. And you go, look at us meeting each other all the time. And look at us face to face and how diverse it is and how we share a love of this. So we all go to this thing. I just think it's cool. And it's giving me appreciation for our interconnectedness in a weird way I did not expect.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. So, Brian, you didn't get a chance to sort of say you're into this, like what?
No, but I mean, it's kind of the same way. It's like, I kind of have that same, not really fight or flight instinct, but it's similar where it's like, okay, I love when my back's against the wall, because that is when I feel like I'm at my best. I can look at something off in the distance and not be super proactive about it and say, all right, yeah, that's going to happen. This is going to do this and I'm going to do that. But it's when my back's against the wall. It's like, okay, this has to happen. This has to happen. We have to put these 5 things in this order and tackle them all one at a time, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And that's kind of the way I'm feeling about this. It's watching, making sure Tina's safe, making sure my mom and dad are safe. My dad travels tons around the country, but also into other countries. He had a planned trip to Germany that obviously he canceled before the president did, but
all right, Germany's is one of the countries you can't fly to.
Can you guys clarify this for me?
Yeah.
Did he cancel all the flights except for American flights?
Yes. So if you are American citizen or national, or what was it? Maybe those are the only two. You can travel back and forth, and you're not exempt. You're fine, or you are exempt, I guess I should say.
Does he know how germs work?
No, he does not.
There's a lot of things that we feel.
Like,
no, what I think happened
never contagious.
And I mean, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but none of his all the countries that have his resorts in them are all open. You can go back and forth to. I'm not saying there's anything there, but it's kind of funny how that worked out.
That's great.
But I would say this, like, I think that what he and others in the administration, like most administrations, thought to do would be, and I'm not defending this by any stretch, but I think they needed something to sound decisive and big, but I don't think it actually does anything. Somebody compared it, some comedian, I can't remember who said, somebody said, this is like spilling your coffee all over the place, and then the solution is to wash the bottom of the coffee cup. Like, you're not actually doing anything. And
right.
he I think they just were looking for a decisive thing to say, and then he kind of screwed that up too, because he said it also included trade, but it doesn't. You can still it's not going to stop shipments and stuff like that.
Does anyone with any ability work with him?
No. The answer is no.
So
the answer is no. And somebody's going to hear me say that, and you think I'm just being biased here, but I cannot, and for the life of me, look at how any of this was handled and think that we wouldn't be better. You know what? Honestly, I don't even like Pence, but we'd be better off with Pence in charge. Like, we'd be better off with anybody in charge than we have right now. 2 years ago, we fired the freaking pandemic response people who specifically his job it is to head off stuff like this and to have a plan, and like forget about politics. Like, this is just, it's kind of a shit show, and I don't know how you can say otherwise. So all of that,
it's like the basic, like the person with the pen going, don't say that, say that, because that's not right and that's right. It feels like that should be pretty core to any, and again, kind of the leadership vacuum, right? In the sense of,
right,
you don't earn it. I mean, I'll tell you what, I did not like George W. Bush, but I absolutely felt like he led when he needed to lead in a way that I needed him to do it. And I liked him.
Yeah.
And I needed him to be that person. And I think that's unfortunate that role has been deteriorated and gone. And so, it just sucks. So some of it is like, what are your local? I mean, I feel like Minnesota, these people are functional. They got a $1.5 billion surplus in the budget.
Yeah, they're doing all right over there.
We're fine, but because there feels like there's leadership. And I mean, I hate that humans require leadership, but we do, right? And so maybe that's one of the tactics, is you sort of figure out in your own life how to be your own leader of your own deal. Like you were saying, Scott, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, make sure you're sort of putting your own ducks in a row and figuring it out, and help each other manage the fear. And, because Americans in particular, we love our zombie apocalypse. We've talked about this before. We just sort of dig dystopia nightmare. And I think it absolutely informs how we think other people operate. I don't care how much you thought it was, oh, that's just a movie. But you're watching well-crafted, well-written, well-acted, amazing versions of the worst parts of humanity.
Yeah, the worst scenarios.
Doesn't mean they're not possible,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also just a whole lot of nice people trying to do their best and stay calm.
And what's funny is oftentimes, it's a nice person writing those incredibly well-crafted stories about a thing that they're just expressing their own fears, right? They're just doing it in a way that they happen to be talented enough to put it in a form that people consume. But it's the same thing. Like, it's they're writing a story that we would otherwise be writing in our heads, and we're consuming it in the same way that we would consume whatever. Why we're so fascinated with apocalypse stuff, I don't know. I mean, I speak for myself here. I love that stuff. My favorite standalone Stephen King book is The Stand. The Stand is about a giant virus that rips through the world called Captain Trips and wipes out almost everybody except for a very small group of people. And it's a fantastic book, and I love it, but it's a worst possible case scenario. I've read that book like 5 times. Like, I'm into that stuff. Like Mad Max Fury Road is my favorite movie of the last 10 years. Like, I like that stuff because, to me, I get all that out in a safe place, right? It's like I can read this book and then go down to the McDonald's with Nick and hang out and talk about video games, like, because I know life's normal.
Well, take your brain waves. Like, if we could scan your brain waves and watch the activity normally, then have you watching Mad Max Fury Road, we would probably see some of your extra beta waves that are always happening, and sort of the anxious stuff going on, seeing it matched or soothed to some extent. Right? Your imagination isn't now the driver; it's something you're watching that meets you and does it for you, if that makes sense. Whereas I have zero imagination.
Yeah.
So I watch Mad Max and I am literally almost having a heart attack for 2 hours.
I love it. We've never talked about this. What you think of that movie? Because
I loved it, but I will never watch it again.
Yeah, you'll never see. You got your fill. Yeah, you're done.
It was. I didn't breathe for 2 hours. but I think it's, and my set, sort of ground setting point is definitely not that. So
No.
I can find it interesting and I can get why people might like it and stuff, but like, I don't want to be distressed. Whereas you actually don't feel distressed. You feel entertained and good. And so everybody's different, right?
Sure.
So it's interesting. I would love some polls done on this, of course, like who actually feels better about this, that finally something crazy is happening. And they're like, yes, I've been feeling this for a long time coming, and
I hope that's not what I'm feeling. I'm feeling empowered to do something now that it's just plain and in stark relief. Like, to me, it's the ambiguousness and the nebulousness of this stuff. Usually it's like, where's it coming from? What's happening? Like, I'd be more worried about Ebola back in the day, because Ebola was a kind of an intangible thing that was only happening to Africa, sadly, for the most part. And when it did spread, it was very contained. And so all you had was, ooh, Ebola, ooh. And then that was it. But now you have, oh no, it's on the ground. It's here. Yeah. People are getting it. It's
a
spreading
jazz
like
player
crazy.
Spreading it around.
Yeah. And it's probably way more than we think, because there aren't enough tests to know. And like all of that.
Did you screw all that up?
Wow. Is this the first disease spread by jazz hands?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
all of this discussion, all of it was worth it for that right there. Perfect. Seriously. Oh, Brian.
There's nothing to say.
Today is what a blessed day we live in. That was amazing. Seriously. But anyway, so all right. So we're kind of all over the place with this thing, but I recognize, fully. If I'm worried about anything, I'm more worried about my kids and their perceptions of this, because I know what it means to be, like in Taylor's case, I know what it means to be a young mother or father with a little kid and having a fear of a thing you can't control hovering around. Even though kids seem to be less targeted by this thing, it's still it's still a thing. He's a year old, and you don't want to put him at risk and all of that. So I worry more about them and their perceptions of it than I do about the actual thing or my safety, which is weird, because my whole life has been what about the thing, what about that, what about this, and now I'm just like, all right, let's go, gloves on, everybody ready, let's do it, let's do what we got to do.
and that's actually my biggest fear too, is not only just younger people's perception, it's feeling the incompetence of, and maybe, I mean, kids today pay attention, right? Mm-hmm. When we were younger, we just didn't know half this stuff. And I mean, I talk to teenagers and they list all the things, and it's scary. So that hopelessness or panic about future or whatever. I mean, I hate that that's what's contagious and spreading and impacting them. Right. And so it's just, it's very frustrating. And yet it's also some opportunity to be leaders and teach your family and be kind, and like, there are antidotes. There's always been the antidote to all of these things, right? Mm-hmm. It's human goodness, which is inexplicable. It's always there. It will always be there somehow, even when we're pretty much animals at the same time. It's just kind of, I don't know. So that's my advice, everyone. Strengthen that. Cut down your Twitter use right now. Just go be outside in an open field where there's nobody else. And enjoy a little bit of what you're grateful for in your life. Like the fact that there's so many good things, and how can we help one another, and just like, you have to take care of your brain. This is also wash your hands. Yes, be careful and do all those things, but your brains are your most valuable part of all of this. And so that's my concern, is just that it's infecting our brains in a way that, and everyone's responding differently. I get that, but I think unilaterally everyone's more nervous. And so don't be the dude in Costco, be the dude outside Kroger helping the old people.
Yeah, or be the dude in Costco who doesn't rip something out of someone's hands. And in fact, be the dude at Costco that grabs the last stack of toilet paper and sees that some lady in a walker was heading toward there and just couldn't get there quick enough. And maybe give her the rolls. Maybe let her wipe her butt better for the next however long. Also, it's weird how much toilet paper we're doing. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I mean, there's a couple of things about all this that are really blowing my mind. Like, I don't understand The water thing, I understand, having water handy in case something ever happened to the water system, but this isn't one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So
You'll get diarrhea. Well, my friend in Florida, she typically pretty anxious and has prepared many times for hurricanes. She's like, y'all need to learn how to prep for an emergency.
yeah.
Like, calm down. We're still nice to each other. It's like, they've done it so many times. They're just kind of good at it. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is because it's new for the vast majority of people. How do I handle something like this that it's unknown and it's scary? So talk to your friends, wipe your phones down. What other things we should say that are just good habits? Just
clean your keyboards a little more often than you're probably doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what it's
Don't
like?
lick poles.
I just realized what it's like. I got this. This is how I feel. When I had to do the BlizzCon 26,000 people in the room deal thing.
Yeah.
I stressed about that for all the days leading up to it because, it's a big deal. It was a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
But once I hit the stage, it all went away. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now's stage time. I think that's what it is. It's just that now there's no more what if it comes, what if it happens. It's now, it's here. Okay, well, I can't worry about if it's coming. It's here. So now there's nothing to worry about except nothing. Just it's here. So now you just do your best. It's like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I can't really explain it. But I guess if anyone else is feeling like that, let me know because I don't want to feel like I'm weird. Like it's weirdly empowering that we have to just deal with it now. Like we have to deal with it. No quote unquote leaders can stop it. You can't yell, tweet, and make fun of the virus. It doesn't give a crap. It will do whatever it's gonna do. Right.
Right.
So
Its boots are on the ground. It's
it's showtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You just got to go. It's like Frog Pants All-Stars. It's not like everyone assumes Brian was just up there doing his thing. He is. But before that, he's a little nervous. Because of course you are, because you're a person.
Weeks of preparation and perspiration.
Right. But once it happens, whether you're going to split your pants or not, whether you're wearing an afro or not,
exactly.
you just have to go. So anyway, I hope some of this helps somebody out there during this weird moment.
And also, if you let Scott know that's what's happening to you, could you also just let us know if you're diagnosably anxious at other times? Because that, to me, is the fascinating part.
Yeah, let's do our own study. Let's get our own
can
little
we
paper.
do that,
Set
please?
up our control to look at the variables.
That's right. That would be great.
Awesome. Also, if I do catch this, I'm not saying I will or won't or anything, but if I do, that's a whole different issue because I'm the grouchiest sick person. Oh my gosh. I feel for my wife already. Honey, wherever you are, I'm sorry for how grumpy I'm going to be because whether it's flu, cold, or grumbly guts, what a piece of crap I am when I'm sick.
Is this terrible that when Tom Hanks has it?
Yeah.
I was like, that of all the people, I need him to be the one that has it. Like, because he's nice. Everyone loves him. It's like real. It's a reality check. It's like no one's immune. Rich people can't hide for the mist.
No, there was I totally get that.
Night.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like if this
now you've gone too far, coronavirus.
Right.
Yes, how dare you?
Right. If Weinstein got it, we'd all be going meh, whatever. But there's something about. I don't want anyone to get it. Honestly, I want nobody to get it. But there is something about that is weirdly like, oh. Well, if Tom Hanks can get it, the one really nice guy in Hollywood, the one that everybody loves, he should be arrested for being too nice to everybody. You know what I mean? Like he's just the sweetest guy. And, if it can happen to him, well, I don't know. We have these, that's just our society. We have symbols, we have famous people. That's how this is going to go. And just waiting to hear from we're going to start hearing from like bands who somebody in the band has it because they've been touring really heavy.
Sure.
And
of course.
Let's hope it's not the Rolling Stones because none of those guys.
Well, if we had proper testing, most of us probably already have it or have had it. And like that's part of the problem is we just don't know.
We don't know.
And the more the tests come out, then the more we'll see.
Yeah, those numbers are probably going to jump, but people should also know that that's because the tests there'll be more tests out there. I mean, we should be doing like South Korea. They are freaking on it, dude. They've done like
of course they are
90,000 tests or something. We're at like 5,000 or some dumb number. I forget what it is now, but we gotta get it going. We gotta make America great. No, never mind.
So let's just all remember on this closing note, Brian's jazz hand joke. I mean,
that was really awesome.
Gold.
Yeah.
That was gold.
I'm not sure it's ever been better than that, Brian. You may as well hang out.
I'm done. Tip your wait staff. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Wendy, before we go, anything you want to mention about
speaking
stuff?
of, if you have the bandwidth to think of anything else, everybody. So we finished up the first round of Real Steps. It was awesome. We had so much fun. And we had this very last challenge that if we had a certain number of people that had to do something, that Ellen and I would cut a hole in the lake and jump in.
Oh, really?
A frozen lake. And we had to have 20 people do a thing, and we had 16 people do it. And I was so happy. Oh my gosh. I was so relieved.
Wait, are you gonna do that again for the next round? Or
I mean,
no?
I don't know if there'll be ice at that point. So we are gonna start a new round. It's April 6th through May 4th, and it is we'll do crazy things. It probably won't involve as much ice, but maybe it's Minnesota. There might still be ice. But it was a lot of fun. We've already had a bunch of people from the first round sign up for the second round. So please go to realsteps.org. You can read all about it. You can, if you have extra questions, just email me at help@realsteps.org, and we will get you good information. Anyway, it's going to be a blast.
Nice.
Sign up. Same idea. People have questions, let me know. But
all right, perfect. Realsteps.org, everybody. Check it out for details. And thanks to everybody who participated in the last round. I know many of them were you guys, so that was awesome.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
That was great. Wendy, have a safe and virus-free week.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you, Wendy.
All right. There you go.
Nice.
Is it weird that while I was talking to her today, I had a vivid memory of that time I chased her with a soldering iron and pushed it against her when it was cold, but I'd made her think I was burning her. I have a total weird flashback to that while we were talking.
That is weird, yeah.
That's probably not good. I don't know.
That's weird.
That's probably just my subconscious saying, you never did enough to apologize for that, I guess. I don't know.
Right, yeah, exactly.
All right, we're back to normal things tomorrow for TMS PM. So if you're around at 3:30 Mountain Time and you are a patron of the show, you will have access to a live stream and also the podcast version of it if you can't be there live. So check us out tomorrow. We'll make sure to let you guys know through those formats when
Regular
it goes
channels.
live. Yep.
Right. And if you need something right before TMS PM, I've moved Guess the Connection to 2:30 now. So it's 2:30 to 3 p.m., 30 minutes, 6 covers. I've already got the 6 covers planned for tomorrow and what they have in common. It's a fun one.
That's perfect, though, because you can just roll right into what we do next after that.
Exactly. I still need that 30-minute buffer to clean up after the whole Guess the Connection festivities.
That's right.
Before I could go TMS PM.
That's right. So
plus I might need to download a game if we're going to have app time.
Exactly. That's totally true. And yes, good reminder there, Jeannie. The instance is on Tuesdays now, so it's not tomorrow. We have it on Tuesdays. We did one this Tuesday, so that's the new plan. In fact, you got shows kind of back to back last week as a result because we were doing a little transition there. But no instance tomorrow. There will be a film sack this weekend. There will be Dungeons this weekend. What else? Tonight Current Geek will go up on the feed as well as a live core tonight at 7. So lots of content coming your way between now and then. And of course, we're back to the normal TMS schedule on Monday. And like we said, we'll keep you informed on what's going on with the Vegas thing as we get closer. And we'll see how all that goes. All right.
Cool.
That's everything. Oh, patreon.com/TMS. If you want to become a patron, everything else, frogpants.com/TMS. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Even though Wendy says do less Twitter. Hey, we're good Twitter people. We say fun things, funny stuff. So follow Brian.
We won't get you alarmed.
That's right, exactly. Brian's at Coverville. I'm at Scott Johnson. The show is at Morning Stream. And leave us your emails if you have comments about today's show. themorningstream@gmail.com. All right, we're done. Let's get out of here. Do you have a song to play?
I do have a song to play. This one's going out to Jessica. Well, specifically, it's going out to Tom. Here's what Jessica says. Tequila is a fun drink. A week ago, it was being drank in a shared margarita flight in a fun restaurant in Las Vegas. This was to celebrate the early birthday of avid TMS listener Tom Robinson. And later on in our trip, we heard the song Tequila Somewhere, which, of course, reminded Tom of the iconic scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, luckily not accompanied by the bar dance, as great of a scene as it is. Please play this song so Tom can relive this fun memory on this, his birthday. Tequila, signed Jessica.
Awesome.
She says, afterward, can you play a random sound clip from Film Sack so we can try and guess the movie? It's always a favorite game.
Oh.
So maybe we do that now before.
Yeah, we can do that
start
now. Random film sack clip. Yeah, we can totally do that. Let's see. Let me dig way down here.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Now I can become part of that fashion trend that's so popular with today's young people.
No idea.
I don't know either.
I'll give you the date. That was March 3rd, 2016.
Oh, wow. So 4 years ago.
4 years ago. So that may help them. Give that a shot.
Certainly wouldn't help me.
Yeah. I'll play. You know what? I'll try it. Let's see.
You have another sound from the same movie?
Yeah, I think so. I think this one is.
Cliff Hansen beating off Mike Vinich of Hudson, Wyoming.
Yeah, same movie.
Wow.
I captured it because he said beating off, I think.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. All right. Sorry.
All right. So when you think of tequila, the first thing you think of is not hot butter. Of course not.
No.
But if you think of popcorn, you think of hot butter. And you remember that song Popcorn, the band Hot Butter that did that song Popcorn?
No, I don't remember that. Or well, it's not ringing a bell, but maybe I
It's
did.
if I made the sound does that help at all?
No.
Okay. Anyway.
I'll have to look it up. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know that one. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the band Hot Butter had a big hit in the 70s called Popcorn. Little did we all know that they were busy doing covers of a bunch of other songs, including a cover by a cover of the song that was originally by the Champs. Yes, Tequila. This is such a great, weird merging of Tequila by the Champs and the sound that the band Hot Butter was famous for. By the way, Pops and Recline just put a little link if you want to listen to Hot Butter.
Oh yeah, totally. At the end of this, we'll play a little bit of it. I want to see.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Here is Tequila by Hot Butter.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. All right.